Alright, let's look at the homework 1.6, 1.7, problem number 5. Alright, so we have this initial value problem, and let's try to solve that. Alright, so we have a differential equation, dx over dt is equal to, I'm going to actually factor out the, let's say, x. And then this is going to be just a 10 minus x, right? Since this is a separable equation, I'm going to put all the x on the left and all the t's on the right. So we're going to divide through by x times 10 minus x. So we're going to get the 1 over x times quantity 10 minus x dx over dt. This is equal to 1. Right? Then we want to integrate both sides with respect to t. Right? So we have an integral with respect to t, and we have an integral with respect to t. Right? So we can cancel out the dt here, so it's integral with respect to x. Alright, then what we want to do is we want to find partial fractions. Alright, so let's do that on the side. So we have 1 over x times 10 minus x. Right? And this can be split into some constant a over x plus some constant b over 10 minus x. Right? Then if you put those guys back together, you see that we have x times quantity 10 minus x. Right? So you have to multiply a by 10 minus x and multiply b by x. Right? Alright, so we need to match this guy to the numerator here because the denominators are already matched. Alright, so we have this equation. But what we do is we set these guys equal to each other. Alright. To find a, easy way to find that would be we can just plug in x equals 0. Alright. If you plug in x equals 0, you're going to get the 10a, and 0b is equal to 1. So we can simply divide through by 10 to get a equals 1 over 10. Right? And to find b, we can just plug in x equals 10. Then you're going to get 0a plus 10b is equal to 1. Then we divide through by 10 to get the b is equal to 1 over 10 as well. Right? So we can pull out the 1 over 10. So you're going to have this. This is going to be integral. Right? We're going to have 1 over 10 is pulled out. So you're going to get the 1 over x plus 1 over 10 minus x dx. Right? And then right hand side is easy enough, so I'm going to go ahead and find the antiderivative, which is t, and plus some constant. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to actually leave this as it is. All right, so leave this as it is. Then I'm going to actually put this 1 over 10. I'm going to multiply both sides by 10 so that I can cancel that guy out. Then you have a 10 in front. Right? Then we can find the antiderivative, and actually one more thing. I'm going to actually turn it into derivative of this guy is -1, so I would like to have a -1 here, and I'm going to turn it into a negative sign there so that it's exactly the same. Alright, so antiderivative of 1 over x is natural log of absolute value of x minus antiderivative of -1 over 10 minus x would be natural log of absolute value of 10 minus x, right? And is equal to, right? So this is going to be antiderivative of 10, so it's going to be 10t plus some constant c1, or something like that, right? So we got that. All right, then we can just use the log property to rewrite this guy as we combine those two logs as absolute value of x over 10 minus x, and this is equal to 10t plus c1, right? Then we can raise e to both sides. So we have e to the left hand side and e to the right hand side. And good thing is we can cancel those guys, and we can rewrite this guy as e to the c1, right, times e to the 10t, right? Then what we get is going to be, I'm going to strip off the absolute value sign, so we have x over 10 minus x. This is going to be equal to plus or minus, since we stripped off the negative absolute value sign, so e to the c1, e to the 10t, right? So there's no point of using a complicated constant, so plus or minus e to the c1 is going to be constant, so I'll just call it a c. Right, this is equal to c times e to the 10t. Right? So at this point, I'm going to try to find c using this initial value condition here. So when t is equal to 0, x is 1. So we plug in 1 for x, t equals 0. So you have, let's see, x is 1, and the 10 minus 1 is equal to c times e to the 0 is 1. So c is going to be simply 1 over 9. Alright, so we have this equation, x over 10 minus x is actually 1 over 9 e to the 10t. Alright, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 9, so that cancel out, so you have a 9 here. And then you can multiply both sides by 10 minus x. So you have a 9x is equal to 10 e to the 10t minus e to the 10tx, right? Then we can combine these two guys. So we're going to add e to the 10tx. So you're going to get the 9 plus e to the 10t quantity times x is equal to 10 e to the 10t. Alright, then we can just find x by divide through by 9 plus e to the 10t. Then you have x is equal to 10 e to the 10t over 9. I'm going to actually put 9 here, plus e to the 10t. Right? And the answer looks a little bit different from the answer we have here, but all you have to do is multiply top and bottom by e to the negative 10t. E to the negative 10t. Then what you get is going to be, right, so e to the 10t and e to the negative 10t cancel out, so you got 10. And this is the same thing, you have cancel out, you got 1 plus 9 e to the negative 10t. All right, so that's why we get this answer right here. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.